In 2023, listeners across India pressed play on over 1 trillion songs, making it the second largest music market on Earth. A digital market generating that many data points, with hundreds of millions of highly active users, usually mints a few native tech billionaires. But the companies that actually built this market are disappearing. In the span of a few years, early pioneers like Hungama, massive platforms like Rezzo, and Airtel's Wynk all folded or exited the space. The most spectacular collapse, however, belongs to the former undisputed king of Indian streaming, Gaana. At its peak, the app commanded an audience of 200 million monthly active users. Look at this chart plotting Gaana's corporate valuation. It peaks near $580 million before it plunges vertically, flatlining at a microscopic fire sale price of roughly $30,000. Acquiring hundreds of millions of users looks like success on paper. But in the Indian digital economy, those users become a financial death trap if the platform misunderstands the math of free. Standalone apps like Gaana relied heavily on a freemium model. They offered unlimited music supported by ads, hoping to convert a fraction of listeners to paid subscriptions. But in a highly price-sensitive market, over 90% of those users absolutely refuse to pay a monthly fee. This creates an unsolvable economic imbalance. The advertising rates companies can charge in India are exceptionally low. Meanwhile, the royalty payouts demanded by record labels are a massive fixed cost for every single stream. By 2020, Gaana reached a catastrophic mathematical ratio. For every single rupee the company earned in revenue, it spent 4 rupees and 20 paise. Because they lost money every time a user pressed play, the app's popularity became its poison. Acquiring millions of new, non-paying users actively accelerated the company's path toward bankruptcy. Reaching massive scale without a functional monetization engine means you aren't running a business. You are running a subsidized charity for music labels. While standalone platforms bled cash, the playing field tilted against them. Telecom giants Reliance Jio and Airtel launched their own proprietary music apps, JioSaavn and Wynk. These conglomerates possessed infinite leverage. They didn't need their music apps to turn a direct profit. Instead, they offered premium music access completely free, bundling it directly into cellular data plans. This telecom strategy rewired consumer psychology across the country. Music shifted from a standalone product you buy to a basic utility you expect to receive for free with your phone bill. A standalone startup cannot mathematically survive against a conglomerate using music as a loss leader to sell 5G data. Then came the final threat. Global giants like Spotify entered the market, armed with bottomless capital and highly sophisticated AI recommendation algorithms. Spotify deployed a surgical, hyper-localized pricing strategy. They targeted cost-conscious listeners with aggressive student discounts and daily sachet plans costing only a few rupees. To bypass the country's low credit card penetration, they integrated directly with local digital payment systems. As seen with this UPI QR code in a local market, microtransactions are ubiquitous in Indian commerce, making a 3 rupee daily plan frictionless. They also embedded themselves culturally. Instead of just pushing Western pop, they partnered with massive regional stars like actor Nagarjuna Akkineni to secure South Indian demographics, while heavily investing in local podcasts. Contrast that surgical precision with Gaana's reaction. Bleeding cash and desperate to stop the losses, Gaana made a sudden move in September 2022. They completely removed their free streaming tier. The fallout was immediate. Gaana lacked high switching costs. There was no sticky algorithmic personalization to keep users locked in, and no telecom ecosystem holding them captive. So millions of users simply deleted the app and moved to competitors overnight. Removing a free tier and forcing a paywall without first making your product technologically indispensable is corporate suicide. Look at the 2025 landscape and the reality is clear. The era of the standalone, local, business-to-consumer music app in India is dead. The only surviving victors are massive global tech ecosystems like Spotify and YouTube, alongside domestic telecom giants like JioSaavn. In the modern internet economy, music streaming operates differently. It is no longer a standalone industry. It operates as a feature, embedded within larger, diversified tech empires. Gaana's $580 million collapse leaves behind a brutal lesson about the illusion of user numbers. Scale, on its own, is a vanity metric. Building a massive audience without proprietary tech, without sustainable math, or deep ecosystem integration doesn't build an empire. It simply builds an incredibly expensive waiting room for your better-funded